anthem for everyone who wants to be free. Oh, the voice inside your soul will lead you far beyond the fear. This is the anthem for everyone who wants to be free. Oh.
Welcome to the Captain Sandy and Leah Rae show. I am very personally excited that we have the one and only Melissa Rivers joining us today. One thing I love about her is in her title, she puts mother first, which I love that. And you're a TV producer, and I personally know you as a red carpet fashion guru. And we heard you're also a big fan of Below Deck franchise. So I'm excited to get this conversation going today.
Good
what?
afternoon, good morning. I don't even know what time it is anymore.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I love that you knew that stuff about her.
Yeah,
So
I
that-
love
I mean,
Melissa.
let me just own my giant fangirlness. And I've been fortunate enough to interview Sandy when she was on her book tour. And literally I was like a mess. A mess. So yeah, I'm an obsessive watcher, and I got my boyfriend, who is the most un-Bravo person to walk the face of the earth. Like, you know, litigator, like so, you know, just so not him. And he has binge watched every season of every franchise.
That's incredible. And you know why?
awesome.
Because it's a travel show. It's not just about the drama. The drama gives it the, that energy, but it's a show that people do jobs and they work, and it highlights that. And it's really incredible because it changes our work ethic
Yes.
that our country so needs.
Yeah.
That's how hard work is right there, people.
And it's a lot of conflict resolution.
Yes.
And all those kinds of things, and of course the drama, and you get so invested in everybody. You know, it's hilarious how invested you get in the characters.
Bravo's an incredible network, actually. I really love the executives there, and, everybody, even the camera guy, everybody involved, even with 51 Minds. But something that I've always been fascinated, like with Leah, is that you really love all the Housewives
I was like,
shows.
don't say it. I do. Whatever.
It's okay.
I own
No,
it.
it's great. That's right.
I own
Well,
it. Well, I
I mean-
was asked to be a housewife of Orange County a long time ago when it first started. It was Coda de Casa, and, like no one knew about it. And it was like, I think it was just like a kind of cheaper production of reality show with Vicky and everybody. And now look, it's crazy amazing how it exploded.
But she watched it because of the fashion and something that you're really...
Yeah.
Yes.
So now I
Into.
have to really
Yeah.
make sure. I'm
One of the
really
things
nice.
that is so important to these franchise shows, which I don't think people truly understand, is it all comes down to the casting.
Mm-hmm.
It all comes down to big characters with opinions who are more outgoing and not so afraid to just sit against the wall.
Yeah. And be a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Or just be themselves.
Or be themselves. Yeah.
Let
they
your
keep
messes.
asking me if
Yeah.
I would. People keep asking me if I would ever do Housewives. I'm like, I would be so boring. Like I would,
think?
I would be sitting there rolling my eyes and being annoyed, and just But also that's because I come so much from the other side, and having already done a reality show and been a producer on a reality show, it's very hard to do both sides.
Yeah, and you grew up though. I mean, come on, your mom is like a legend.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come from the entertainment industry where she worked her from the ground up, I mean, she was one of the hardest working women I ever have seen, and growing up with her. And then to see you and then the two of you working together, I mean, truly you were an inspiration to me personally growing up. And there's so much I could say about, your mom, but I think when you come from that background in that industry, it's so much different than the reality stars that become famous overnight, where your mom, you've put the dues in and the hard work. And it's a different game now, the reality world where, it just is different.
It's a vastly different game. I think people come in with certain expectations, but as Sandy can attest to, it's really hard work. It's very long days. It's very frustrating days. It's, people don't realize what a grind it is. And I think people who just think, oh, I'm going to be on a reality show, do not understand the ins and outs of it and what's expected of you. You are expected to speak your mind. You are expected to share feelings that you might not be comfortable in doing. And you have to do them at the drop of a hat. You have to be very present. You have to be, especially with Housewives, just the amount of clothing. And they take crap if they don't look good.
Right. The pressure.
Like, honestly, people do not necessarily walk around looking like that. I mean, they do a little more in New York and Beverly Hills. But still, not everybody leaves the house in full hair and makeup every day.
Leah
You know
does.
what I mean?
Babe, I do. I love hair and makeup. But yeah, what I love about Sandy, though, she's like a true federal captain. She has worked so hard her whole life to get where she is today. And so what you see on the show is truly like a woman that is an inspiration to so many people because she worked so hard. And
yeah.
so the captain you see on television is not just casting. She is the real deal. And I think that's why you see some frustration in her sometimes where sometimes you meet the cast for the first time on the show.
But wait, before you answer that, I'm going to say you are the real deal, but you have a big personality. And I have to say, I have noticed in all the interviews, you have a good blow dry.
Oh,
So
she
let's
Okay.
And a good makeup.
Yeah.
And you always have a good blow dry during the interview.
Yeah. So some of those clips, I go, why did I come out of my cabin looking like that? But when you're in the moment and it's like an emergency, I can't tell you how many times, you run out because you're responsible, and the level of responsibility is really intense. Yeah. But this isn't about me. This is about you. Oh, and I just, no, you're fascinating. Could you tell the Big Eagle story? Because the Big Eagle motor yacht is a well-known boat that's been around, Anheuser-Busch family, and your son took his first steps on board. But you have a history with that vessel, and I'd love you to share about that and the captain, the first officer that became captain.
Okay, so the Big Eagle became a huge part of my family's life. One year, my mom was like, we've never done this. Let's charter a yacht. And she had lots of friends who did it and this and that and the other. And the first one we were on, I don't even remember the name of, we didn't love. And then someone suggested this boat, the Big Eagle. And we went on and it was phenomenal. And it became a huge part of our lives. God, I was on it before I met my husband, my ex-husband. But I mean, that's how many years we were on it. My son, God, I mean, I'm just thinking like so many years I was on there. After our wedding, we took 2 days by ourselves before everybody else got on. My son, I was on there pregnant. I wasn't pregnant on the boat, but my son took, right after his first birthday, we always went over the holidays, and he took his first real steps on Big Eagle. I have photos of him crawling around. I have just the most amazing memories, and we went on it for years and years and years and years, and we had the same captain. And the first mate, Christiana, once Ed retired, is now the captain
Isn't that awesome?
Big Eagle. And now I am just saving up money because I still have some of my mom's ashes and my godfather's ashes and another friend, very good family friend's ashes, who were all part of that. So I'm saving up to go sprinkle them somewhere on the Big Eagle and on charter, hopefully. But we'll see. But, again, Leah, it's so funny because I'm sure you have had this experience now. is I watch the show and I think about things that we may have asked for. And it's like, I want to apologize. Like, I am so sorry that my son eating butter noodles caused drama in the galley. Like, I feel guilty. I feel so bad. I feel like so many little things like that. And we're always very good guests because we are a very polite group. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's maybe half a dozen times we stayed up past midnight. Oh dear God, what did we do?
That's hilarious.
And, you know, it's so funny though, because I look at it and just go, oh God, did we do that? Did we do that? And I'm a very strange eater. And I would always just say, look, if you're having this or that, just give me a chicken breast or vegetables or whatever. And I literally am like, I caused chaos for asking for butter noodles or chicken tenders.
You did
And
not.
I have
is not-
such
you
guilt
did not.
about it.
You are absolved, so do not worry. You are not. That's expected. So
Yeah.
um,
But I
think
found amazing was that we didn't request certain things. Like we would do like one silly theme, a charter, but it became like, it was very silly. And one year, without even asking, they put together a huge treasure hunt for my son. And I still remember this. And he had to go all over the boat to find things. Obviously, like we were with him and the chief stew was with him. And it included him having to get off and go on a tender and go to the beach. And like they put out little X marks along the beach for him to find the treasure. And it's so amazing to me. But now I'm so proud from a distance of Christiana.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I love how the crew went the extra effort, especially for your son. And that makes a difference. I always say to the crew, look to your left, look to your right. We're all competing for the same client. So let's be better. Let's be the best.
Yeah.
And I love that. But one of the things that I think is really cool about you that I just learned, and forgive me because I've been at sea, right? So we didn't watch TV, was your red carpet stuff.
Oh yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
I mean, they're like icons. She and her mom. I mean, the red carpet. They would judge people's fashion.
So, okay, who was the best dressed and who was
Oh, well, they did that. The best dressed,
Yes,
worst dressed.
I want to know
but
these things.
There's like a pantheon. And Leah, I'm interested if you agree with me. And there's a very interesting thing I think that's happening now with these particular women. It was always Nicole Kidman. It was always
The same,
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
It was always Halle Berry. And, all these sort of women, which I find fascinating, even as in their 50s, are still the ones we wait for. And, in a society which everyone is young, it's wonderful for me to see that these women who were all kind of right around the same age are still the ones we wait to see. And, those are always the top ones. And obviously then you get a George Clooney and a Leonardo DiCaprio and
A Brad Pitt.
Exactly. Where, and they're still the ones. And I love that about now being a woman over 50, that I'm still excited to see the same women because they are still the best dressed and they are still the fashion icons. And there's always a couple that pop up, like Margot Robbie.
Right.
There's some that pop up all the time. I mean, I also want to add like Charlize to that list. And I love that in this sort of youth obsessed culture, those are still the leaders.
The leaders, right.
I love that. Like when I was in Cannes, we did the Cannes Film Festival almost every year on a boat. And I remember I went to get a haircut and my hair done because the owner was arriving. And I went to the hotel where they had Harrison Ford and you couldn't go in, but I wore my captain's uniform and it was like, no one stopped me. I walked right in. I got my hair done. It was really cool.
I'm going to do that.
And then on my way back, it was the red carpet walk. And it was Angelina Jolie in her green dress when she was pregnant. And
Yeah.
that's the only time I've ever seen a red carpet live. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And because I had the captain's uniform
They just
on,
let you
people
through.
just parted the way. I mean, it was crazy. Like, It's like I was like right next to them.
Yeah.
It was really amazing.
And Cannes is an incredibly special time of year there. I mean, it is just controlled chaos, basically. And it's a movie fan's dream. And we used to go and cover it every year. And it was always such a special time. One year I was pregnant there, and nobody knew I was pregnant yet because I'd had a miscarriage right before and blah, blah, blah. And nobody knew I was pregnant. And we weren't, this is at the height of the red carpets. And so we didn't want the public to know that I was pregnant.
What year was
again.
that? What year?
Oh, God. Well, let's see. Cooper was born in 2000. So I guess it was 2000.
I was there.
You were there?
I was
Well,
there. I was anchored there.
I couldn't leave the hotel room because I was throwing up so much. I slept on the floor. I made it out twice. And during the shooting of our show, I threw up over the edge of a dock.
Oh
So
my
those are
gosh,
my
morning
biggest
sickness.
memories from
Horrible.
Cannes.
Oh no.
So,
But you did it.
Yeah, so my son, since inception, has had a pretty interesting childhood.
It's pretty awesome. Like when Leah went to the south of France for the first time, and I was showing her, this is where we do the Cannes Film Festival. This is it was pretty cool. Actually, we were there for the Lions Festival.
It was
And
amazing.
at first, she
MIPCOM
didn't
is
like
also
it.
a great time to be there. MIPCOM.
Yeah,
Because
MIPCOM.
all the
We were
TV
there.
people.
Exactly.
Right.
We were there for that. And I knew that our show was making money when I saw my picture, larger than life.
Well, no, we were walking.
Yeah.
She saw the carousel because she loves to play. She's a big kid at heart, and you saw the carousel, and I look over and I went, babe, that's like your face on the side of the building with Andy Cohen. And I said, did you know that was going to be there? And she said, no. And it was so beautiful to see her just stare like, is this happening? Like,
Yeah. It was pretty
it
wild.
was surreal, right?
Yeah, it was surreal.
So I recorded it. And
And they make
so
you
proud
look
of her.
really good on those.
yeah, real good. But she is so beautiful in person.
They clean up everything. You have
They sure
perfect
do.
skin tone.
Yeah,
You have
totally.
everything.
It was amazing. I was so proud of her. And a lot of people ask me, is it hard for me because we get stopped a lot now, and I am very good at taking pictures for her. And is it hard for me? And I'm so proud of her. And I think coming from an entertainment background and you're in that world, you just appreciate and you're there to support your person. And there's no competition or jealousy or anything. Like we literally are each other's best champions.
I love that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. But I have a
Wait,
question
I
for
want to
Leah.
ask. Wait,
Oh,
I
go
wanna-
ahead. You go first.
Can let's go back to
Hold that
south
thought.
of France because so many Americans don't travel, right? So for me, it's like they say, "How do you know an American?" They speak one language and they don't have a passport. So for me, it's like I keep saying to Leah's 16-year-old, "You got to travel. You got to go to London. You got to go out there." And you've been able to, share that with your children. And how important is that? And so when Leah went to Cannes for the first time, she didn't like the food because she's gluten-free, but it took you maybe 3 restaurants and you go, oh my God, this food's incredible. And it's so fresh. And so when you traveled and you did the red carpet every year in the south of France and other places, how, for other people listening to this show, would you recommend they travel, they see Europe, they go places like?
100%. 100%. My mother actually had a thing that she started called Grandma Week, in which she took my son it was usually about 10 days, and they would have some kind of adventure. Now, I was invited, but I was not allowed to have an opinion. Like, I was not allowed to have an opinion. And, God, they went everywhere. And she would plan everything down to the minute and would always find things that were age appropriate for where he was. So they did Paris. They did a lot of the countryside of France. They did all of London repeatedly. They did a whole Italy trip. They did national parks one year. And
I love that.
it gave him such a love of travel. And I think I took him to, we went to Cambodia. First of all, it's so important to understand that there is a whole world out there and different cultures and different ways of life and just things that are completely different because we're so insulated, just like in LA or New York. I mean, we're insulated within insulation.
That's right.
But it gave him such a love of travel. Last year, he went to Croatia. He fell in love with it. I didn't go on the trip, so I'm a little bit bitter. But I said, "Would you go back?" And he said, "Absolutely." I've been lucky enough to spend time in Greece. He's dying to go to Greece. He hasn't been there, and I'm going to make sure he gets there. But it's so, and especially for kids, it's so important. And he developed such a love of travel that when he turned 18, he wanted to get a tattoo. And I said that was fine because I can't say no to something I have. Our deal was you can't see it. He got a compass right over his heart for my mom because of the love of travel. And north, we go to Wyoming every year, so it was little mountains. South was a sunset because we used to spend quite a bit of time in Mexico. West was waves because he's a surfer. And north was a tiny little Empire State Building. And it's completely for my mother and the love of travel she introduced to him. And I think it's so crucial to expose not just yourself as an adult, but as with kids. It's absolutely, it just is such an important experience in their lives.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's been all through the Caribbean because of the boat.
Right.
And so he's done that.
Yeah.
And he was in my belly in Cannes. So, he made me throw up at this film festival. So there you go.
There you go.
And it just offers so much education. And I'm that geek that does the history tours. Like I'm that
By the way,
person.
so was my mother.
Yeah. Okay.
She would always get a private guide, and it was
Right.
all about history. Like one time when they were in Rome, there was a gladiator school. So Cooper, and she would usually take a friend of his, and they got to spend half a day at gladiator school learning all about, you learn about the Colosseum and you learn about this all within gladiator training.
That
So
is
she would
so
always
cool.
make sure there were two
so
things,
you.
and she always made sure there was a pool because it was always in the summer, and she thought, when in doubt, hurled them in the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That is really cool.
That's
Travel,
really cool.
yeah, travel's important. That's why our show's so popular. It is a travel show.
Well,
And
speaking of travel, I don't mean to cut you off, Leah. I have a question directly for you.
Yeah.
How did you learn how to cope with long distance?
I think age. I was married 20 years before to a person that traveled all the time. I was always by myself. I pretty much raised my daughter alone. So I think just age, I'll be 50 this year. And I think just trust. We
FaceTime.
We FaceTime. We trust. But I think I'm just at that place in my life where I don't need to have someone around. I want to have her around. And we just have such a beautiful relationship. I do what I do. She does what she does. And we talk all the time. And yeah, so I think just age and experience and knowing, I'm not really worried about her or us or trust is everything. And I always tell people if she messes up, then everyone won't like her because I'm a really good girlfriend.
So if anything happens, it's clearly her fault.
It's all her fault, and yeah. So yeah, we, and then hopefully, I have missed going out to visit her, just circumstances throughout the year. So hopefully one day I can go out and visit this year.
Well, yes. You never know.
You never know.
In reality
You never
TV,
know.
it could all
So
change.
whatever happens, I would love to see her wherever she is. So
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That was a good question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa.
Well, but you are the expert.
Do you think you'll go on the show ever, Below Deck?
it would be potentially the most boring episode
I don't think so.
ever.
I don't
Because
either.
when we go, or when I go on vacation, and my mom was that way, and my son is that way, we basically sleep the first 2 days.
Oh,
So
Yeah, they don't
be
want
over
you in
by
the
then.
cabin. You'd have to be
yeah.
awake.
First of all, if I'm going for 5 days. That's number one. You
Right.
know, or 7 days.
She's a real
And
charter client.
Yeah, we
Not that the others aren't,
literally-
but
I mean, I could say film the last 3 days
Mm-hmm.
because the first 2 days, literally, we eat and sleep.
yeah.
they
'Cause
love
it's
the crew.
vacation.
Love that.
What?
They're like, yeah,
loves
down,
it.
they're down early.
It's good for the crew. It's terrible if you're trying to film it because we were like,
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to all go out sometime,
Yeah.
just on our,
Yeah.
we all need to go out sometime. And where, so I lost my dad to COVID, and so I have some of his ashes and stuff. And so that really spoke to my heart. Where will you, go out and sprinkle your mom and honor her? Like where?
well,
you go?
Since she's passed, we've moved her around the world.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Did you? I know this is such a morbid question. Did you cremate your dad?
We did, yes.
Okay. First of all, it's shocking how much there is.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's
sprinkling.
number one. So a lot of her very good friends, I gave some to. For her friends that live overseas, when they were here, they got some and took her back and sprinkled in different places that she loved throughout the world. I spread her all over the U.S. She was in Bergdorf Goodman.
There you go. That's what I'm talking
She
about.
was in a restaurant.
Are you
called
listening to
Hurrdat.
this, baby? There you go.
She's been everywhere.
That's awesome.
And so we've taken her everywhere. And yeah, it's shockingly how much you have left. So, and that's what she did with some of her friends. And you might as well go more than one place, especially if you love traveling. I mean, there's a lot of places in London that I can't admit that she's at. And my godfather, because she did that with my godfather, who was always with us on Big Eagle. So I have some of him for there too. But, those are absolutely the Caribbean, the Med, places I'm still, a lot of because of due to COVID, haven't gotten back to yet. She's all over New York, all over LA. I'm going to take some of her to Chicago next week. I got to send some, eventually I'll get back down to Palm Beach and throw some around in the breakers.
There you go.
But-
Yeah, she was just such a big personality. Just an amazing woman, and I love your relationship with her. The mother-daughter thing. And
Well, 'cause you have a
very
daughter.
special. Yeah, I have a daughter. She'll be 17, and I adopted her at birth, but she's the love of my life. As I would do anything for her, and I can't wait for Sandy and I to take her to Europe and show her around because she's just been in this bubble of Colorado. She's been afraid to travel. For
Have
reasons.
we ever talked about Sandy like she's not here? How is she? Because it's tough being, not that you have a new relationship, but being the other person who's of significance in that child's life, but not quote unquote their
Parent.
parent,
A parent,
because
right.
you said you were married for 20 years.
Yeah. So for me, my love language is like I bought her a
yesterday.
yesterday. Like I set up her computer, her monitor, and I like little kids. So I will be at the little kid table, the 8-year-old, the 6, 7, 8. And I'm not a teenager person because I love teenagers, of course.
She does not.
Nobody,
I
By the way,
do.
nobody loves teenagers.
No, because they're know-it-alls. They have
They're
a
awful.
lot. Yeah, they're a lot of work. So I like the kids. They're just happy to be there and they're entertaining. And I have a child like mine, but for me, Leah's an awesome parent. Lolo and I have a great relationship, and it's a mutual respect. And she knows I love her. Like yesterday, she gave me a big hug, and it's great. We have each other's back. I
Yeah.
feel.
I mean, I'm just really open with Lolo. I talk about everything. I'm just a very open book. And so I think communication with Lolo is important. And right when I divorced, I put her in therapy to make sure she was fine. And, Lolo came out to me that she's with a girl in a relationship. It's been a year now. So she said, thank you, Mom, for being brave and, paving that way. And I think, because at first I was nervous, oh my gosh, am I messing my kid up by my choice? And am I, you just start to beat yourself up, over my choice. But I'm glad I showed Lolo that I chose happiness, and she finally sees her mom happy and being my true self. And it wasn't easy, but it definitely was worth it. And Sandy's awesome. I mean, she can say she doesn't like teenagers, but the things she does for Lolo is pretty awesome. Like,
I didn't
she'll
say
driving.
don't like them. I said if there's a table
said
with
like.
6, 7, 8-year-olds, I'm at that table, not the teenager table.
Well,
I can't
what my
relate.
parents used to say to me, and I've said it to Cooper, and I think this is what you're trying to say. And my parents say, we love you, but we don't like you right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went through a stage with Lolo, but she's a good kid. She gets
she's
straight
a
A's.
yeah.
We're gonna go college looking. Sandy is gonna be a part of that.
Yeah, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews that went through their teenage years, and I'm like, but I'm the tough love person, because I came from that, and I had to shift my way of being, especially to soften with Lauren, because I'm like, what do you mean? You just do it this way. Do this, do this.
And I'm like, but you're not a mom. You don't understand.
And I'm like, you're such an enabler.
I'm not.
That's what I say to her.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think I've done a pretty good job so far raising her by myself pretty much, because Sandy's gone a lot, and her Lolo's dad's not involved with her, unfortunately. And so it's not easy, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah, I totally, like if we ever broke up, which I hope we never, I'm just getting a puppy.
She's a dog person.
They're easy. Although this morning we woke up to a dog that was really sick, so we had to call in the carpet cleaners. But I want to say this. I want to meet you in person.
I know.
So we have to make this happen, and on a boat. Because I told Leah, we're moving into our new house.
In Florida.
And then next is the boat. So we will do boating together.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a super yacht, because the best kind of boating, I feel like, is the Intercoastal Waterway in South Florida. When you go from Miami to Fort Lauderdale to Palm Beach, you can hit every restaurant and bar. Mm-hmm. Although I don't drink, I'm a good, designated driver, and we could have fun going up that Intercoastal.
I like a good margarita.
Oh, yeah. And my boyfriend is a big water person. He's a big diver. He also is a very good designated driver.
Yeah.
And my son's a water baby.
Yeah, exactly.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Even today walking, I'm like, babe, I was like dreaming, today, can we go out on our boat? Because I'm so over the cold here. Like, I'm just not a cold weather person. And he's like, where would we go first? And you said,
Key West.
Key West.
Yeah.
Oh, Key West
Keys
is
are the
great.
Bahamas. I like the Keys. I like the Bahamas. Yeah. It's a great place, but I want to thank you.
Thank you
for taking the time with us. Obviously, you're an icon, and I'm really grateful. Now I'm going to go watch all the red carpets you've done. I'm actually going to go back on YouTube and watch every one.
That's a lot. That's a.
And
you're gonna have to
Fashion
binge watch them.
Police.
And Fashion Police,
Yeah.
definitely.
I love that. Now, I got to step up my game, because Amy Phillips, I did a live show, and she goes, the capri pants, I'm not wearing them this season, if I do this season, because remember, she was hilarious. You know who Amy Phillips is, right?
Yes.
She does.
Yes.
She's so funny.
Yeah, she was like,
So what was
I'm
her
not
issue with
pants.
what
She said
was
the capri, I'm not pants and I'm not shorts.
I like the capris on her.
I have to disagree, because in your job, you don't want to be in long pants all the time.
No.
And you don't want to be in shorts all the time.
Exactly.
And I'm a big fan personally of the capri.
Same.
I think what she's talking about is it's hard to wear a capri with boat shoes.
Oh,
Capris work best with like little slides,
Sandals,
or
yeah.
sandals.
yeah.
You know.
I wear Golden Goose.
Or you're
Love a good-
barefoot, right?
Are you going to wear Golden Goose on the show?
I wear Golden Goose on the show.
She wears Golden
That
Goose,
is
every
Louis
season.
Vuitton.
Hilarious.
Yes, and Christian Louis Vuitton, or
Louis
my
Vuitton,
nighttime.
That
She
is
is a red bottom.
hilarious. Oh, now I'm
Capris
going to
with
be
studs.
looking for him.
Yeah.
It's all about the shoes, right?
Oh yeah, I'm a shoe. Leah
I'm a shoe
will tell
person.
you, I love shoes.
She loves shoes.
and watches. I just, I need a wardrobe though. I definitely do. Because I lived in a
disagree with
uniform.
the capris are fine.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. Thank you. Coming
You
from
know.
you, I'm wearing the
She was
capris.
just, yeah, the capris
Or
are
you could
great.
go to just above ankle length, which is also a very good and very trendy length.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah, you look good in anything.
Thank you. Because they'll send me the uniforms, but I bring my own,
Yeah, yeah, that's hilarious.
just like the shoes. I'm like, save your money.
Yeah, that way you can have it all tailored to fit you before you go.
Yep.
Yeah, when I worked for Jim Hurrdat, I go, hey, I don't really like wearing the uniform. Do you mind if I dress like appropriately? Like a suit or whatever. And he goes, no, wear whatever you want. But when I come on the boat, I want you in epaulets. I go, no problem, sir. And then I remember one guy, he said, you look like one of the clients. So then I put back on my uniform.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
funny.
That's a compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
well, I
compliment.
put the uniform on because I'm there to serve.
Yeah.
So-
it's at least it
Yeah.
makes it easy getting dressed.
Yes, and I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. I'm going after this. I'm going to Google the red carpet with Melissa Rivers.
Yeah. Now I know I just need a captain's outfit to get into the red carpet, and no one will say anything.
Yeah, they just
I know.
put some
Thanks for the,
epaulets
thanks
on.
for the
Hey.
trip.
Because they think you're
the tip.
tip.
Yeah, because they've all the people walking the red carpet on the super yacht,
Yeah,
so they
okay.
think you're their captain.
Great.
Yeah,
Love that.
it's pretty cool. Thank you.
Thank
We appreciate
you.
it.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for coming on.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Big hug.
Yeah, thanks everyone for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. We would love your support. The Captain Sandy and Leah Rae Show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Nothing's gonna